Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Fantasy drama, an episode of Murder at Midnight. This episode originally broadcast May 23rd, 1947. A man can see into the future. In fact, he's the man who died yesterday.
Murder at Midnight.
For the last time, Walt, please let me go.
Nuts.
Then it has to be this way.
Hap, no, drop that gun.
I'm sorry, Walt. Very sorry. I've known all along you had to die tonight. But I didn't know. I killed you.
Midnight, the witching hour when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Man Who Died Yesterday. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by William Morwood is The Man Who Died Yesterday. Afternoon on a little-traveled highway. A strange-looking man in threadbare clothes stands hopefully by the roadside. A car comes around a curve, slows up, stops.
Looking for a lift?
Are you headed for New York?
That's me. Hop in.
Thank you. It's very good of you. I'm in a hurry to reach New York. I haven't much time, you see.
Yeah, sure. I picked you right off for a big executive on his way to a board meeting.
Nothing like that. It's just that, there's something terribly important I've got to do. A mission.
Oh, Salvation Army, huh?
No, United Nations. I have to see the Secretary General before midnight tonight. That leaves me only 8 hours.
The United... You feeling all right, pal?
Yes. I was sick, but I'm feeling fine now.
You don't look so good to me. White as a ghost. Of course, you could do with a haircut, too.
I suppose so. I'm afraid I've been out of touch with civilization a long while. By the way, my name is... was David Hapgood.
Hiya. I'm Walt Griggs.
Can't you drive any faster, Walt? We've still got a long way to go, and... Well, I'm worried about this part of the road. There's going to be a rock slide and...
Rock slide? Oh, you mean those signs? Ah, it's nothing to worry about. They put them up on... What the...
It's all right. Keep going, Walt. We got through safely.
Yeah, but there was a rock slide, just like you said.
Of course, but...
How did you know?
I can see ahead, Walt. See into the future for 24 hours.
The guy was nuts, of course, but... Still, what are the odds against calling a long shot like that? 1,000,000 to 1? 1 billion? I gave up trying to figure it. We drove along for about an hour and then stopped for gas. There was this hamburger joint right by.
Where are we going, Walt?
Grab a bite.
Oh, but there isn't time. I've less than 7 hours now, and by midnight
We gotta gas up anyway, and I'm hungry. Come on, Hep.
Hiya, fellas.
Hello, sugar. Sit down, Hep.
What'll it be, boys?
Hamburger for me, sweetheart, with onions. What's yours, Hap?
I'm not hungry.
Oh, busy with your speech for the United Nations, huh? Well, I'll just read this racing form while you're thinking.
Racing form?
Sure, I play the G's all the time. Got some important dough on today's meet. $50 on Alistair to win in the 6th.
Alistair?
Yep.
I'm afraid you'll lose your money, Walt.
What? Don't kid me. Alistair's the hot favorite. It's going to be a walkaway.
Marble III won that race.
Marble? What are you, nuts? He's a rank outsider. 100 to... What do you mean, won the race? It hasn't been run yet.
Hasn't it? I didn't know.
Look, wait a minute. Sweetheart.
Yeah?
You think you can get the races on the radio?
Oh, sure. It's all tuned in. A lot of our customers like to listen.
Walt, we can't waste time like this. Who can think about a horse race?
I can. Remember my $50.
What?
Conclusion with a great race. The crowd is going wild with excitement. They're around the bend now, coming into the straight. Alistair is out in front by 2 lanes. The rest of the horses bunched. Alistair's going strong.
Attaboy, where's your marble, Hap?
Wait.
Entering the last stretch now. It's a walkaway for Alistair.
He's in.
4 lengths ahead and no challengers. Wait a minute. Alistair stumbles. Can't regain stride. He's down.
What?
The jockey's going clear, but Alistair is... The other horses have gone past. Number 8 is out in front. Number 8, Marble the Third. Marble the Third. Marble the Third, and Marble wins. We-oh!
Turn that thing
That's
off.
fun for the books, folks. The most extraordinary...
I'll be... You knew it all the time, Hap. You knew Marble had to win.
Of course. Walt, we've got to go.
Sure. Sure, Hap. Anything you say. You're the guy I've been waiting for all my life. I didn't need no more figuring to tell me Hap was a gold mine. And I had him first before anybody else could get their hooks into him. The only thing that worried me was the way he talked. All this about midnight, not having much time. I had to use him while I had him, even if it meant taking chances. So while we drove, I worked on a plan.
Walt, we've left the New York Road. The signs are pointing the other way.
I know. I'm taking a shortcut through a town called Hasek.
Hasek?
Yeah. That name mean anything to you, Hap? Hasek? Think hard.
Let me see. There's going to be a holdup there tonight at the factory. 2 men involved. They steal the week's payroll, $10,000.
$10,000, huh? They get away with it?
There's a chase, but they shake off the police.
Great. Couldn't be better.
Why?
We're the 2 men, Hap. You and me.
What? No, Walt, no, I'm not a criminal. And I've something else to do with what little time I have left.
You're coming with me, Hap. Maybe this'll convince you.
The gun doesn't frighten me. Stop the car and let me out. I've got to get to New York.
All right, look, I'll make a deal with you. You come with me on the stick-up, and I'll drive you straight through to New York without stopping. Are you on?
But I can't, Walt. My message concerns the whole world.
It's the only way you'll get to deliver it.
Well, if it is the only way, all right. There's something more I've got to tell you, Walt.
What's that?
We leave a dead man behind.
It was getting dark when we hit town. I drove down the main street and onto the factory building beyond. It was all dark except for a light in the cashier's office. Hap and I went in. There was a guy sitting at a desk.
Who are you? What do you want?
The $10,000 in that safe. This is a stick-up, brother.
You're crazy. There's no 10...
Open up. I'll do the talking.
I warn you, man. You'll be caught for this.
Shut up and start turning that dial.
All right. I guess you win.
Come on. Snap into it.
I'm doing the best I can.
That's it. Now hand out those greenbacks. Come on, get a move on.
Watch out, Walt. He's turning in an alarm.
You double-crossing rat. Oh! Take care of you! It's the guy that had to be killed, Hap?
Yes.
Okay, then step on it. The cops will be swarming around like flies.
They're gaining on us, Walt.
Can't go any faster. I'm down to the floorboards already.
They'll start shooting soon.
You sure we get away? There's no slip-up?
No. We get away all right.
Good. Ah!
Where did they get you, Walt?
My arm. What do we do, Hap?
Keep driving till we hit that bend in the road.
Yeah?
There's a clump of willows around the corner. Pull in there.
Okay. Here goes. Douse the lights.
Off.
We shook him, Hap. Just like you said.
No hurry. Get back to the New York road. I've less than 3 hours left.
Okay, but I gotta stop and see a doctor.
A doctor?
Sure, my arm. Oh, what's the matter, Hap?
I'm afraid of that doctor. Something happens there that I don't understand.
What is it?
I don't know. It's something I should have explained before. I can see into the future for you, Walt, and for everyone else. But not for myself.
Yes?
You the doctor?
What can I do for you?
Oh, my arm. I had a little accident. I was cleaning my gun and it went off.
Come into my office.
Okay.
And this man?
He's just a friend of mine. Nothing the matter with him.
I don't agree. Looks much sicker than you do.
No, doctor, really.
Your face, it's the color of...
No, I'm all right. Believe me. Please hurry with my friend.
It'll only take a second. Just get my stethoscope.
Look, let's quit kidding around, Doc. I'm the one that...
Quiet. Good Lord.
What's the matter, Doc? Why are you looking at him like that?
Well, it's impossible, of course, but there's no heartbeat.
No.
But that's impossible. If your heart wasn't beating, you'd be...
Dead? Yes. I've been dead since yesterday, at midnight.
Staring at him, at the living corpse of the man who died yesterday, Walt and the doctor draw back in horror. Just who is David Hapgood? Perhaps we'll know when the clock strikes 12 for Murder at Midnight.
May 23rd, 1947, Murder at Midnight on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
The buy one, get one free special going on now at MyPillow. MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, the roll and go anywhere MyPillows, and 6-piece towel sets on special. Go to mypillow.com/USA, use promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175 and find out all the great deals you can get right now at MyPillow. mypillow.com/USA. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Murder at Midnight, May 23rd, 1947.
The goose pimples were standing out on me. Here I'd found the guy, been with him for hours through a holdup and a killing. And now I was hearing from his own lips that he was dead. He gave me the creeps. I wanted to take it in the land, but instead I was froze to the floor. I heard the doc saying...
You've been dead since yesterday?
Yes, doctor.
But that's impossible. There must be some explanation, some obscure heart condition.
There is an explanation, but not that kind. You see, I was cheated out of 24 hours at the time of my birth, and I'm just making up for it now.
How do you mean?
This will sound fantastic to you, but nevertheless it's true. I was born on a ship crossing the international date line. I started coming into the world during the last moments of a Friday and finished up early on Sunday. So I skipped a whole day of my life. I've always been living 24 hours ahead of myself.
But that's shit.
It's gospel, Doc. He can call the turn on anything like he was reading tomorrow's paper.
I told you it would sound fantastic, Doctor. But it is true. When I realized it, I tried not to use it for selfish ends. I wanted to help people, but I never could. People would never listen to me, believe me. Finally, I realized that there was no place for me in the world, that man wasn't meant to know the future. So I went away, up into the woods.
How long ago?
About 10 years ago. Away from civilization, it was easier. I still knew what was going to happen, of course, but with no way to communicate my knowledge, my conscience was at rest. That is, until last night.
Last night?
I had caught a cold. It developed into pneumonia. I was deathly sick. I couldn't breathe, and lost consciousness. Then suddenly, at midnight, I was well. Quite well. Not a trace of my illness. I knew what had happened, of course. I was dead. But I still had my missing day to live. I knew I must use it for the benefit of mankind.
How?
There's something I know. Something that involves the fate of millions of people. Unless some action is taken within the next few hours.
What action? What is it?
I'm sorry, but I can't tell you, Doctor. I can't tell anyone except the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I must reach him before midnight, before I'm really dead.
It's getting on to 10 o'clock.
Now do you understand why I'm in such a hurry?
I'll say, let's get going, Hap. Never mind about my arm. That can wait.
No, listen to me, Hap. You can't leave.
What?
As far as your being able to read the future is concerned, well, it doesn't matter whether I believe that or not, but that heart condition of yours, that's something unique in medical history. Now, you've got to let me take you to a hospital where it can be studied properly.
Lay off that stuff, Doc.
I'll phone for an ambulance.
Stay away from that phone. He's mine.
Yours? But do you realize what this can mean to science?
Don't give me that talk. You just want to grab him off for yourself.
Nonsense.
Stop it, both of you. I don't belong to anyone. I'm not a specimen to be examined. I've got a mission to perform for all of civilization. I've got to get to the United Nations before...
Now, no matter how you've been deluding yourself, young man, you're terribly sick. I'm going to phone the hospital...
Okay, you asked for it.
You...
I must get away from here.
Hap, come back here. Come back here. Okay, if you're dead, it won't hurt you, and if you're not...
Oh!
Holy smoke. That bullet went right through you and only knocked you down.
Let go of me, Walt.
You try to run away, huh?
I've got to get to New York. Nothing can stop
You're coming with me, Hap. I got plans for us as long as you last.
You've got your 10,000. What more do you want?
A chance to run it up to 100,000 and we can do it. I know the place and you can call the cars.
But there's no time.
I'm figuring on only a couple of hours. That's plenty.
Listen, Walt. I'm asking you for the last time. Let go. Do a decent thing for once in your life.
Nuts.
What I'm trying to do, it's for you as much for millions of others.
I never gave a cuss about the others, and I'm not starting now.
All right, Walt. Then it has to be this way.
Hap, drop that gun.
Oh! I'm sorry, Walt. Very sorry. I'd known all along that you had to die tonight. But I didn't know that I'd kill you.
Kind of a silent type, ain't you?
Sorry?
Oh, that's all right. I don't like fellas that gab too much. You know, it was nice of you to pick me up back there on the road.
I was lonely. Besides, I needed reassurance.
How's that?
You see, I've been out of touch with civilization for some time, and the people I've met today weren't inspiring.
You're a strange guy, do you know it?
Am I?
Yeah, I mean, the way you talk and look. You don't look quite real. Oh, now don't get me wrong. I like you a lot.
Oh, I'm glad.
Well, for instance, we've been driving for nearly an hour now, and you haven't even made a pass at me once.
I'm afraid that wouldn't do either of us much good.
Yeah, but just the same, a girl appreciates a little thing like that. Incidental, what's your name?
You can call me Hap.
Hi, Hap. I'm Hazel.
How do you do?
Well, I guess I ought to tell you something about myself.
Well, know a little already.
Huh?
You're going to New York to find your fiancé, aren't you?
Yeah, a guy called... Say, how'd you know that?
You're going to look him up in the phone book and call. Then you're going to find out that he's married.
What? Oh, you're kidding me. Jim wouldn't do a thing like that. He'd wait for me forever. He said he would. And, hey, why are we stopping?
Almost out of gas.
Howdy, folks.
Fill her up as quickly as possible.
Okay.
How far to New York from here?
Well, you ought to be at George Washington Bridge in about 10 minutes.
Fine.
You folks hear about all the excitement on the highway?
No, what happened?
Well, the cops are looking for a crazy killer. Murdered 3 people. One was a stick-up, and the other 2 was a doctor and his own sidekick.
Oh, what's he look like?
Well, according to the radio, he's got a chalk white face, a mop of hair that looks like it hasn't been cut in weeks, no hat, and...
What's the matter, Bud? What are you staring at?
Your friend, I gotta get something out of the office. I'll be back in a minute.
He's going to phone the police. This is your chance to get out, Hazel.
Oh, no, I'm staying with you, Hep. Now, you better get moving and keep moving. No sign we're being followed. We may make it yet.
And the conclusion of Murder at Midnight, the man who died yesterday, from May 23rd, 1947, along with another episode of The Adventures of Jungle Jim, when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues following these messages.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Murder at Midnight, the man who died yesterday, from May 23rd, 1947.
Are you frightened, Hazel? Being with me?
I guess I should be, but I'm not.
Thank you.
Somehow I can't believe you're crazy. If you killed anyone, you knew what you were doing and you had a good reason.
Thank you again. You don't know what that means to me.
Have people always been scared of you, Hap?
Most people. Till I met you. Why couldn't I have met you sooner, Hazel?
Well, what's wrong with now?
It's a little late.
Not for me.
You honestly mean that?
Sure.
Well, then perhaps it's going to be all right after all. Perhaps we'll meet again.
What do you mean?
I didn't mean to tell you this. Perhaps I shouldn't now. It may cause you pain.
Go ahead, I can stand it.
After you call Jim your fiancé and find that he's married, you start across the street in a daze. Tex is driving too fast and...
It's got my number on it, huh?
Yes, I'm sorry. And yet, in a way... what did that sign say, Hazel?
George Washington Bridge, 2 miles.
Oh, I'm going to make it. There's still time. The Secretary General is in his home. They'll let me in when they hear my message. I'll have most of an hour with him. It's not quite 11 yet.
11? Hey, your watch must have stopped.
What?
Look, there's a clock on the building.
Where?
Up to the right, there.
3 minutes of 12. Oh.
Well, what's the matter, Hap?
Oh, I can't make it. Oh, I've lost. Unless... a telephone. There's still time for that.
Well, why are you stopping here? There's no phone.
In that house, the family's all in bed upstairs. There's a telephone in the parlor.
But the door's sure to be locked.
They've forgotten to latch the parlor window.
Hey, how do you know all these things?
Never mind now. Goodbye, Hazel.
But I'll be waiting here.
No, you'd better start down the road. The police mustn't find you.
But when you come back, I'll be here.
I won't be back, Hazel. This is goodbye. For keeps.
But you've got to come back. You've got to.
Operator, get me the Secretary General of the United Nations at his home. Hurry, please, it's urgent. Hello? The Secretary General, please. It's terribly important. No, I've got to speak to him personally. Midnight. Hello? Will you get him for me? There's no time left and... never mind. I'll tell you. It's about...
That's his car outside, officer. I'll swear to that.
He must have climbed in this window. We'd better go in and have a look.
There was a girl with him when he left my gas station. She ought to be around.
Where's the light?
Here. There he is, on the floor. And he looks...
He's dead, all right.
No wonder. Look at that hole in his chest.
Wait a minute. There's something funny here. That wound never bled.
Huh?
The only way that could happen is if he was dead before the bullet hit him.
Two men staring at a corpse that is finally still, and still forever. The corpse of the man who died yesterday, while outside, somewhere in the night, a restless spirit keeps a rendezvous that none can avoid, and the distant clocks chime the last notes in epilogue for Murder at Midnight. Remember to be with us again when death brings time to a full stop and the clocks strike 12 for Murder at Midnight. The part of David Hapgood was played by Stuart Brody. Vandell Kramer was Walt. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
May 23rd, 1947, Murder at Midnight on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Adver what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches, we're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of The Adventures of Jungle Jim, this once weekly children's serial from May 23rd, 1936.
Presenting the adventures of Jungle Jim. Last week, Jungle Jim, Kolo, and Shanghai Lil reached Shanghai in their plane, but were unable to land because of a thick fog. Using up the fuel from her emergency tank every moment she was forced to stay in the air, Lil tried desperately to establish radio contact with the airport for aid in landing. Meanwhile, on the steamship, Lyn Chalmers was caught eavesdropping by the mysterious Chinese prince Lin Poo and forced at the point of a gun to enter cabin 307. The thrilling adventures of Jungle Jim are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And now we continue our story. On board the Shanghai-bound steamer, as the door of cabin 307 closes behind her, Lyn Chalmers finds herself facing a huge glass-topped desk. At one corner of it sits a studious-looking Chinese with close-cropped hair and thick spectacles, which give his eyes a peculiarly bulbous appearance. The man jumps to his feet.
Lin Poo, who is this lady?
Did I not tell you we were being spied upon, my friend?
She is a spy?
No, I'm not. Mr. Lin Poo, I wasn't spying on you.
Quiet. Sit down. In this chair. Yes, my friend. As I expected when I opened doors sudden, I found eavesdropper. Charming, beautiful, but still eavesdropper.
I tell you, I wasn't spying on you, Mr. Lin Poo.
Then what you doing outside door?
Suppose you permit me to question uninvited guests, my friend.
Very well, Lin Poo.
Now, missy, you will tell us your name.
I'm Lyn Chalmers.
You are traveling alone?
No, my father's with me. He's confined to our cabin by illness.
You are going to Shanghai?
Yes.
For what reason?
It doesn't concern you.
Ungentlemanly as it is to contradict woman, I assure you knowledge of your reasons is of utmost importance to me. Why are you going to Shanghai?
To join my mother.
Indeed?
You don't believe me?
Believe you? Oh, yes, missy, of course. And why are you joining your mother?
If you must know.
I must.
I'm joining her so that she can nurse my father back to health.
Your reason is most excellent. What does your father do for a living?
Dad is a missionary assigned to the foreign fields. We have just returned from a trip to the northern jungles.
Northern jungles? Lin Poo?
Yes, my friend, I heard. You leave questioning to me. Do you hear?
Yes, Lin Poo. Excuse intruding.
Now, missy, you tell us. And I hope you give satisfactory explanation. Why were you listening outside our door?
Well, you see, I happened to be passing, and I heard a voice. It must have been that of your friend here. Say, I tell you, Lin Poo, we can't fail now that Jungle Jim is dead.
I am not surprised you heard my friend. He has not learned to modulate his voice.
Lin Poo.
But he will. He will.
I did not mean speak loudly. Excuse, please.
Quiet. You will proceed, missy.
It was at the mention of Jungle Jim's name that I stopped. You see, he's a friend of mine, and I thought I might learn more of what happened to him.
Ah, so you are acquainted with Jungle Jim?
Yes. Oh, tell me truly, is he really dead?
I'm sorry to break news to you, missy. According to Laporte, Jungle Jim Bradley lies at bottom of sea.
Oh, Jim.
But since you were a friend of his, You can be much help to us.
I can be of help to you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not. Perhaps I have been a bit hasty. I humbly beg forgiveness for this apparent inquisition. But I can honestly assure you, my friend and I must look upon all strangers with suspicion.
It's quite all right, Mr. Lin Poo. I don't blame you. I was foolish enough to put myself under suspicion.
You are most gracious, Missy. And now, you are free to go whenever you wish.
Then, if you don't mind, I think I'd better go right now.
Permit me to open door.
Thank you. Good night.
One moment, Missy.
Yes?
Allow me to look round first. It will be better if no one sees you leave cabin.
You're probably right. Please see that the coast is clear.
There is no one inside. Good night, Missy Chalmers.
Good night.
Now, my friend, let us get to work again. On me, those reports.
At once. Here you are, Lin Poo. It is not fitting for servant to question integrity of master's judgment.
Well, what is on end of your tongue? Speak.
Why did you release girl?
Fool that you are. Would you have me allow his whole ship by holding her prisoner? I have better plan.
Meanwhile, Shanghai Lil's plane carrying Jungle Jim and Kolo zooms over the city of Shanghai, circling around in the impenetrable fog. Lil desperately tries to establish radio contact with the airport.
Shanghai Airport, I need your help to guide me in. Can you hear me, Shanghai? Where are you, Shanghai? Answer me. NC-191 calling Shanghai Airport. NC-191 calling Shanghai Airport. Jim, are you all right back there?
Yeah, so far so good. How are you making out?
Well, I don't want to scare you, but as the doctor would say, the picture isn't particularly encouraging. I can't get a squeak out of the airport.
Are you sure they've got a radio transmitter?
If they haven't, then I'd hate to be flying the China Clipper. Oh, they must have, Jim. I'll try a few minutes longer.
How's the gasoline?
My engine's burning it up like nobody's business. That's why I'm only going to try a few minutes longer. Then it'll be a case of making a forced landing or hitting the silk.
You mean bail out?
That's right, Jim. It'll be over the side for all of us.
I hope we don't have to do that, Lil.
Why? You scared?
No, but Kolo here wouldn't know what to do with a parachute.
He'd either find out or else.
You sure can think of the most unpleasant things.
Keep a stiff upper lip, Jim. Here I go trying for that radio contact with the airport. NC-191 calling Shanghai Airport. NC-191 calling Shanghai Airport. Shanghai, answer quickly. SOS! SOS!
XNDH Shanghai. Calling NC-191. What's the trouble?
Oh, thank heavens you answered, Shanghai. I'm flying blind in this fog and almost out of fuel. XMDH, where's your radio beam? Or will you guide me in?
NC-191. You don't need beam. Ceiling 500 feet. Come on in. Wind due west. You'll see the windsock when you drop below the cotton.
Thanks, Shanghai. Say, you don't sound like a native. Where are you from?
Brooklyn, USA.
Okay, Brooklyn, we'll be seeing you. Thanks a million. NC-191 signing off. Jim?
Yes, Lil?
Brooklyn says it's all clear below 500 feet.
Brooklyn says? Who cares what it's like in Brooklyn? What about Shanghai?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. A man from Brooklyn visits the Shanghai transmitter, and he says there's a 500-foot ceiling.
Well, why'd you say so in the first place? All we've got to do is dive down to 500 feet and level off.
That's right, Jim. Says we'll see the airport as soon as we get below this fog.
Boy, that's the best news I've heard since we left.
Since I said I'd fly you to Shanghai, Jim?
I have to hand it to you, Lil. You're a woman of your word. You said you'd fly me to Shanghai, you have. But I'll be doggone if I can figure out what's behind this big-hearted gesture.
Oh, it's no gesture, Jim. I had to come to Shanghai myself. And the fact that I love you prompted me to offer you the use of that back seat.
I sure appreciate it. Maybe I can do something for you someday, Lil.
Maybe you'll be able to. None of us knows what lies ahead.
Well, there's no way of telling what lies ahead of me until I meet the American consul.
You just hang on to your native boy back there. I'm going to land this crate, and the next stop will be the private office of the United States consul in Shanghai.
at that very moment, the Reverend Chalmers rouses from the drugged sleep brought on by the ship's doctor and gazes into the face of his daughter.
Lynn.
Oh, Dad, I thought you'd never wake up. It seems as though I've been sitting here for hours.
Oh, thank heaven you're all right, Lynn. I was so worried about you.
I'm sorry. You didn't need to be.
I tried to get the doctor to search the ship for you. I couldn't remember the cabin you were going to, nor the name of the Chinese.
Mr. Lin Poo.
Of course, yes, that's it. But I couldn't think of it when I was trying to tell the doctor, so he thought I was delirious again and gave me something to put me to sleep.
Poor Daddy. I'd have been back sooner, only I was delayed. I thought I was clever enough to get away with a little sleuthing, but I got caught.
Oh, Lynn, I warned you not to eavesdrop. Now all the ship's officers will be talking about you.
Oh, no, they won't, Dad.
You've no idea how they discuss the passengers. And after catching you eavesdropping...
They didn't catch me, Dad.
But you said...
Yes, I was caught, but Lin Poo did the catching.
Lin Poo, the revolutionary?
Yes.
Oh, I had a premonition you were in danger.
I wasn't, though. Mr. Lin Poo was very polite. He asked me a few questions and then let me go.
Did he mention anything about Jim Bradley?
Yes. He said, according to reports, Jim is at the bottom of the sea.
What?
But while he was telling me that, I had a feeling there was something wrong with the reports, that Jim isn't dead at all.
I hope that's true, Lynn. I do hope Jim is safe and sound.
When Mr. Lin Poo learned that I was a friend of Jim's, he said I could be of help.
Oh?
I told him I didn't know what he was talking about, and then he said, of course not. Perhaps he'd been a bit hasty. Then he apologized and let me go.
I say, that's odd, isn't it? Quite a mysterious piece of business altogether.
Isn't it?
Have you mentioned this adventure to anyone else?
No, Dad.
Good. You must do nothing to arouse suspicion on the part of Lin Poo. He evidently released you so abruptly because he has some scheme in mind.
That's what I thought too, Dad. Especially when he made me enter cabin 307 at the point of a gun.
You see. Now, what did I tell you? There's something odd going on in cabin 307. We must find out what it is.
As soon as Shanghai Lil's plane landed at the airport, Jungle Jim took a taxi for the American consulate in the city of Shanghai. We find him now being greeted by the consul.
This is a pleasant surprise, Bradley.
Surprise? Why, I understood you sent for me to come up here.
I did, but I haven't heard a word since my messenger left. I've scanned the passenger lists of each boat leaving Burawani, but your name hasn't been on them. Did you sail under an alias?
No, sir. I didn't sail at all. I came direct by plane. Just landed at the airport.
Oh, I see. Come in.
Cablegram from Burawani, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me, Bradley.
Certainly.
Well, I'll be... How did you learn I wanted you, Bradley?
A Chinese named Lo Tung said he'd been sent by you to bring me.
Lo Tung. Where is he?
Where all bad China boys go, sir. He got shot.
Good. That's one less of that gang to be dealt with. This cable is from my agent. He says you've left Burawani and that you were followed by a mysterious plane bearing purple triangles.
Yes, I was.
They fear you are dead.
And so I would be, if it hadn't been for the woman who flew me here. But here I am, safe and sound, sir. And I don't mind telling you, I'm curious to know why you sent for me.
Bradley, your fame as a hunter and trapper is exceeded only by your reputation as a jungle detective and a crusader for right against wrong.
Thank you, sir. I'm at your service.
That's what I hoped you'd say. That's why I sent for you. Draw up that chair. Before I give you this assignment, I have a story to tell you.
What story will the consul now reveal to Jungle Jim? Does he know what is behind the purple triangle? The dramatization you have just heard is based on incidents pictured in full-color action pictures appearing in the Comic Weekly. The big Comic Weekly, printed in full color and distributed with your Hearst Sunday newspaper everywhere. In the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure, the Comic Weekly, you will find all the famous characters of the world of color pictures. There is a feature called Heroes of American History, which picturizes the careers of great men and women in the story of our country. There is also Bringing Up Father, Sentinel Louie, Barney Google, the Katzenjammer Kid, Skippy, and many, many others. Don't forget your date to listen next week at the same time over this same station to a continuation of the adventures of Jungle Jim.
It aired once a week so that they could promote the sale of the newspaper coming up, don't you know? The Adventures of Jungle Jim, May 23rd, 1936, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that we're here each and every time we roll around. And if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. Our shows are available through Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Amazon, other podcast suppliers just by searching Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And they're also available at my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, and contact me there, classicradio.stream. Thanks for listening. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.